podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters. Welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
And I am Gold Eagle Jake. And we're joined today with a very special guest.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is Amine from Old Louisville.
Thanks for joining us,
to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Amine here, the founder of Old Louisville Whiskey Company. I got to meet Amine about 2 months ago when we were down in Kentucky doing our Peerless picks. We stopped by Old Louisville and did a really fun little afternoon barrel pick there. Amine, welcome to the show. We're excited to talk about all things Old Louisville.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
So why don't we start with why did you decide to start Old Louisville? What was your background before getting into the distilling or NDP side of things? Because I know you were in the industry beforehand, right?
Yeah. So, long story short, living in Kentucky for 22 years. By trade, I'm an engineer, manufacturer engineer. My last gig as an engineer, I was a Brown foreman. Most of my career was with GE. Then I moved to another corporate, which is called Brown Foreman, that owns Jack Daniels and Woodford. From there, I decided corporate was not for me. So I bought an existing liquor store in a neighborhood called Old Louisville in the city of Louisville. It's kind of like the original city or the original suburb of the city of Louisville in Kentucky. And this is back in 2014. And then by 2016, I opened another shop downtown and start realizing from 2014, early 2015, that the whiskey boom is really here to stay. Not just like, it's a real thing. And the big guys have started to realizing that as well. So I decided to do my own label because it has more potential versus owning liquor stores. I don't know about Illinois, but in Kentucky, we don't have limits on retailers. So you can open next door to another liquor store, literally. So the competition is real here. Like you have Walmart selling alcohol, Walgreens, independent stores, and massive chain companies. So I realized that, well, maybe if I do my own brand, being in Kentucky and the tourism is growing, it will be a good, growth thing. And that's kind of how the idea started. And then now we live in it. So
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like better? Having your own whiskey brand or having a liquor store? What's more fun?
I like this side better. I do.
Should I switch?
I think if you're passionate about it, you definitely should. Yeah. So, retail was very fun. I did it for 7.5 years. It was something completely new for me, going from like corporate and structured, environment, and you clock in, you clock out, and you have reports and bosses and bosses to report to, and then you own a small retail, a corner store, and all of a sudden you're doing everything, right? So it's been fun. It was really fun. I don't regret that stepping stone because I also learned a lot running my liquor stores, knowing what actually works and what doesn't. Because 2014, I think there's already a lot of new brands surfacing that if you were in the 90s or 80s, you'll never see new brands popping. So definitely like in the early 2000s, you will start seeing, Angel Zenvi, I think, started 2014, Blonde Brothers, OKI, a lot of Bell Mead, a lot of these nice, cool brands that we kind of like, looked up to them, what they did and how successful they were, and all the whiskey enthusiasts following them. So you learn from other brands' mistakes when you run a retail or you're close to retail. So there was definitely a step that helped me a lot. So Jake, you got it. You're ready.
I'm ready. I know it would be a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure I would do fairly well. But I know Dan's probably rolling over right now saying, don't do it, don't do it.
I think it'd be a rough time for you to start off, Jake, but not saying not to do it.
Well, all
You got a
the
good
prices,
gig at Gold Eagle too.
we do have a good gig. I mean, we just, it is what it is. Like we're trying, we're doing our best. It's a lot of work. But if there was ever a time to be an NDP, outside of that boom back in 2000 to 2016, it would be now with all the prices on barrels supposedly coming down.
It's a normal correction. I think everybody was expecting it.
So I guess that leads kind of into like one of my next questions is what have you noticed? And so back up for a second. Did you ever have plans on distilling? Because I know you have a still there, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that just for
we
show, or
are.
eventually are you gonna?
No. We are planning to distill. So right now we're very tight in this warehouse. We don't have a lot of room. But in the next 3 or 4 months, we're gonna be moving to a lot larger warehouse, and we're gonna have a dedicated section or area for distillation. So we will be distilling. But I can tell you one thing I learned in my journey is it's very difficult to distill a micro level and try to compete on quality, price, consistency. It's very, very difficult. Just the amount of lab equipment that you need when you start distilling, and the cost of those equipment are no joke, like very, very expensive. So if you know enough, I always tell people this example. There's a reason why the Pappy family source, they don't distill. And they have one of the most sought after whiskeys, American whiskey at least. So I think what I decided is allow the guys that know what distillation ins and out and have the equipment, they have the capital to do that. They can do it at a scale. Allow them to do their job and focus on maturation behind me and blending, because that's what really the flavor of whiskey and really the importance of how the whiskey is going to come out of that barrel is, choosing the barrels, choosing the entry proof, choosing when the aging is done or good enough at least to bottle, and a lot of those decisions to be made after the distillation. So yeah, I mean, one of the advices people ask me, like, I want to start a micro distillery. I said, unless you really love it, don't do it, because this is not, it will cost you a lot more to micro distill than actually sourcing.
So
Yeah.
why? I mean, why and like, what is your game plan then with distilling? Are you bringing in other people? I'm assuming that are going to help you with the mash bill and all that
No,
jazz.
so I'm one of those guys. I will do it all on my own until I hit a wall. So, yeah, the small still that I'll show you here, it's 100 gallon still. It's an experimental, basically a lab size still. So this is stuff that you can run and be like, all right, let me use this yeast with this mash bill, cook it at this temperature, or ferment it at this temperature, cook it, this way and see what comes out, and then analyze the liquid and decide, is it worth scaling it to production or not. This is a very, very small, so it's going to be an experimental still, nothing, it will never be a production thing. So,
Gotcha.
Nice. So how many barrels are you currently holding in your warehouse? Roughly.
right behind me, there is about 500 barrels.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Now we're moving to a bigger warehouse. I don't know if I told you, Jake, when you were here, but we purchased one of the original Seagram's warehouse in Louisville.
I think you did mention
Yeah.
that.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
So we're
very
gonna
cool.
be moving to a historic site. Originally was owned by Seagram's, and most of my barrels are actually Seagram's recipe from MGP. So we will be moving to the a lot larger facility, and we're gonna consolidate our barrels from different warehouses that we stored at Wilderness Trail and BBC and MGP. We have room now for to bring them home, basically. So
Nice.
How many barrels are you guys using for your average batch size right now? And are you looking to get into bigger batches, or do you like where the flavor's at with continuing smaller batches?
most of our batches are anywhere from 5 to 19 barrels.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think we will do any bigger size batches in the near future. So typically, I'm very happy with what comes out of those, and we also produce to order. So we don't batch waiting for orders. So typically, if I have a PO from Kansas and another PO from Louisiana, another PO from Texas, then I'll just batch enough uh, to create a batch to send and fulfill the order. So we literally produce the order. So we
Okay.
try not to produce unless there is purchase orders.
Okay.
That's
But yeah,
kind of an
to answer,
interesting model because I feel like that's not super common, right?
it's not very common, but also for me, it's better to leave the whiskey in the barrel than batch
Mm-hmm.
it and wait for orders. It's interesting, especially like going into the summer season, going out of the summer season, how much the barrels change. And we don't bottle anything younger than 7.5, 8. So you have barrels here are anywhere from 8 to 18 years old, and very interesting how a summer season or heat cycle, natural heat cycle changes the whiskey. So we
Mm-hmm.
like to see, well, if I don't have demand, leave the whiskey in the barrel and see how it tastes in 6 months, right? Or in the fall when it relaxes and comes out of the wood, right? So a lot of things, a lot of chemistry, a lot of chemical reaction inside the barrel happening. So we like to see that. And also, if you don't produce it, you're not paying taxes on it. So it's still bonded. It sits there.
Hmm.
So why produce it and wait for an order, right? So
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Has
once
that
it's in
ever?
the vat, that's it, right?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
You
much.
don't get anything more out of it.
Yeah.
Has that ever put you in a bind where you've gotten multiple POs and are pressured to put together a blend and have trouble coming up with something that you're satisfied with within the time frame?
I think honestly, no, we haven't ran into that because we haven't seen like a big spike. Most of the spike we've seen in our demand is actually in a single barrel, so it's one off anyway. So every time you sell a barrel, you bottle it. It's not like you don't need to batch it or trying to hit certain profile consistency or anything like that. Now, as we grow, that's gonna change. Like if we start seeing larger POs and consistent orders from different markets, then yeah, it will make sense because right now the demand is changing and it's hard to like forecast it. So that's why we do the model of produce to order. But as we get to more consistency, we know what's coming as far as PO. Then you can batch and be like, all right, in the next 90 days or whatever, 120 days, you're gonna sell out of that batch. It makes sense to produce it, right? And but yeah, so far it's been okay. So we'll adjust as we go. We're so small. So
Yeah. So, and
Yeah,
I
that
think
makes sense.
part of probably the only reason you're able to do that is because you're working with LibDib, right? Are you working with LibDib for all of your markets?
no, we have distributors in probably half of the states we're in. So we have a distributor in Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, um, Kansas, Missouri, California, Alaska. So we have distributors there, and the rest of the states we have LibDib, so the orders are a lot smaller because LibDib don't have sales force. They're not out selling your product. It's basically up to the retailer to search for your product and ordering it. So it's a nice platform for us as a very small producer to be able to ship to Illinois without having a distributor. I mean, there's still a distributor, but not like a true distributor, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a wild concept. I don't even know if you guys know much about LibDib, but it's
Yeah, I was
a
gonna
newer.
say, can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, Amin
Yeah.
can probably explain it a bit better, but from my point of view, and then I'll let him add on, is they have like an app, and you're ordering directly from the distilleries through an app, and they ship to you via FedEx or UPS.
So LibDib is basically a marketplace for producers, alcohol producers, and retailers. Whether you're a liquor store or a bar or restaurant, to be able to penetrate to a market without having a distributor. I mean, they are licensed distributor, but they're just basically a platform, just like eBay or Amazon. Amazon doesn't handle every product Amazon sells, so that's what they created. They basically literally change. They are changing the three-tier system in a lot of states. And because of their success, RNDC is one of the largest distributor, bought the ownership or 51% ownership of this platform. So basically, they go license themselves in the state of Illinois or state of Florida or New York, whatever state that allows them to do that. And without having the overhead of a warehouse, truck, and delivery people, they may touch the product or may not. Depends on the state, depends on the rules of the states. But basically, it's a platform, it's a marketplace for producers to list their product and retailers to be able to see it and purchase it. And then they take care of all the three-tier system legality handling without having the trucking companies and everything like that. They charge less markup, and they put the shipping on us, but then we also have to go out and sell it. So
Do they also pick up the excise tax then, or is that something that you guys are having to pick up?
it depends on the state. So you're talking state or federal?
Federal.
Federal is always the producer who picks up the excise
Okay.
tax because we're producing it. We know what we produce, so we pay it. We report it monthly. Now, each state, some states have extra taxes. So, like for Illinois, for example, we do a monthly report to Illinois what we shipped out, and there's some taxes involved in that.
Okay.
Some states that don't have that, and then the wholesaler is responsible for it. It depends on the structure. Literally every state have a different regulations. It's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though that you get to have a more direct path, than the straight distribution path. That's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
hadn't heard of that before.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
definitely a good way to like for me to reach Jake and his community without having a distributor. Like for example, Illinois is controlled by one retailer. We don't have to mention the name, but if that
thank you.
retailer,
You can if you want to. I really enjoyed watching Jake's face when you say
well,
say
we'll
that
be
name.
He's got
respectful.
respect, Dan.
I know.
We'll be politically correct. But like Illinois is controlled by one retailer, and if that retailer doesn't bless your product or whatever you need to do under the table to get that retailer behind you, no distributor will pick you up in Illinois. But LibDib or these platforms, hopefully there will be more of them opening and breaking this like barriers that always existed for the last 80 years. It will allow us as small producers to reach independent stores, to reach the good community that willing to support the micro distilleries or micro wineries or whatever the producer is, to be able to have our product in that state. So it's not a lot of times it's unfortunately it's a volume industry, and a lot of times the big players can control your destiny. So if you're small, you get lost. Just like allocation Jake's fights for. You got to sell this to get this. Well, we have to, spend so much marketing money or put incentive money or whatever we have to do to get our product just to the market. It doesn't matter how good your product is or if consumers are demanding it. You're competing with gurus or celebrity brands. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's really changed the game, and I absolutely love it. It lets us bring in a lot of unique things, smaller brands that a lot of the big guys in the state don't have on their shelf. We actually got a call from the liquor commission right when we brought in Nashville Barrel, and they were like, how are you guys selling Nashville Barrel? Like, we don't see them with a distributor.
yeah,
And I just said live dib, and they were just kind of like, oh, okay, and hung up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, I'm still hearing you. I'm gonna go to a barrel and leave me some whiskey. So I'm
Nice.
gonna scooter around and go get me a thief of whiskey. And my friends are not helping here, being behind the scene here. I was expecting them to thief for me.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good transition to start talking about the whiskey itself.
Yeah.
So Jake got me a sample of a 8-year single barrel at 123.6 proof. This one,
And that's Kentucky bourbon, the 8-year.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
our first release of Kentucky bourbon, which we got 12 bottles and they sold out within a couple days.
Nice. Nice.
I just ordered some more today.
Good
very,
deal.
very good.
It is really good. Can you tell us where that barrel's from?
Absolutely. So you can see the back label. It says distilled in Bardstown, and then the mash bill is in the back as well. So that barrel is our first Kentucky release, or first barrels from Kentucky that we're gonna release or released. They're 8.5 year, and they're distilled by Bardstown Bourbon Company with 120 entry proof. But the mash bill is a very classic Bardstown. Heaven Hill distill a lot of their product with that same mash bill. That's 78 corn, 10 rye, 12 barley. So that's a Bardstown Bourbon Company distillate you have in your glass. And that's probably
It's
the
very
oldest
good.
BBC product in the market, because those barrels were distilled November of 2016. They started distilling September of 2016. In the first 6 months of their distillation, if I'm not mistaken, was all bulk spirit or bulk sold. So they didn't hold any of those barrels because I don't think they had a plan to have brands back at the beginning. They were
Yeah, I
just
think you're right.
mainly doing bulk distillation. So we got those barrels November of 16. Now they're 8.5 year, and they're showing a lot of good, flavors, and they're ready to be bottled.
So you bought those barrels as new make, essentially,
Yes.
and have been holding on to them ever since.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
they're
That takes a lot of
ready.
Good job.
patience.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're in this industry, you better be patient. You gotta be patient.
So
Yeah,
I know you.
What was it? 123 proof.
Yeah.
Drinks way under that. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
And it's super full bodied.
Yeah.
Has great balance, great complexity, good amount of rye spice, but it doesn't overpower. Yeah, we got 12 bottles. They sat on the shelf for a couple days. So I opened one, put it on the bar, and then within a day they sold out after people started tasting it at the bar.
Usually that's what
So I
does
think
the trick.
Liquor
to lips.
that just shows you that it's a good quality product.
Well, we will in the next order. I'll send you an extra bottle for sampling. So I appreciate your guys'
Nice.
support there. So
Absolutely. I'll order more.
you gotta share it.
This is
Hey,
why
you
Jake
gotta
put in
share
a
it.
I'll put in a few more cases.
You gotta share it with the folks here, though.
I will. I mean, if Dan wasn't out in Bumble, Utah, where I can't
I'm in
ship
a bigger
liquor
city
to.
than you are. Yeah. I moved to a whiskey dead zone, but everything else is perfect about it. So.
But no, I'll put in a couple more cases. I'm sure after this episode, we're gonna get some more demand for it.
Good deal.
And it is really, really good. So happy to get behind a product like that.
So we
So
we
is that?
also go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna ask if you have other Kentucky barrels from other distilleries, or is it just Bardstown Bourbon
Yeah,
Company?
no, we have some Wilderness Trail. They're cooking. There are only 5 right now, so they need 2 to 3 more years. But we put them in the barrel at 110. It's a wheated mash bill, and I mean they taste good right now, but we're gonna still stick to our philosophy of 7 minimum. Uh, the whiskey shows much better flavors, much better balance after 7 years of oxidation and maturing. So we're gonna stick to that philosophy. We're also releasing a new brand. That's what I was gonna mention. So all the BBC that you guys tried a barrel proof, we're gonna release it under the Kentucky series. I don't know if you saw it on our social media. So
Mm-hmm.
this is another brand we're gonna release, more approachable price point, more like in a $59 retail, and 8 year 100 proof. So just whatever you
Wow.
have there, a cast strength, it's gonna be 100 proof for $60 retail. So
That's a great price
Nice.
for a 8-year Kentucky bourbon.
yeah, we're
Yeah, it
trying
was
to catch up, catch some more volume and hopefully more shelf space.
so yeah, we were just talking about the 8-year. Jake was saying he was going to order a dozen more cases.
Okay.
No, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
So
we need to get some.
can you hand me
We need to
that
get some
brown
single
bottle?
barrel samples.
We can send you some. So I have a sister barrel, maybe similar to what you have there, 126.4.
Okay.
So this is what the BBC barrels are 8.5. They turn 9 in November. But we're using these same barrels for our new brand, which is the Kentucky series. So it spells out Kentucky. Each time you buy a bottle, maybe a different letter.
Okay.
So we like more shelf space in your bar. But this is gonna be the 100 proof of this version.
But all the
Nice.
liquid is the same in those, right? You just got to collect all the letters.
Yeah, I mean if you want to.
Sounds
Whatever you want to
familiar.
spell, yeah. Well, we basically told Blantons to hold our beer.
At least there's no repeat letters in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'll say,
Well, there
it's
is
a lot better in
2Ks.
Mississippi.
Oh, there's
There's
2
2
cases.
Oh
Ks.
yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta collect the second case. So in the back, it will match the front. It will tell you which K you have.
And when do you think
have to-
those are
you have
coming
to do a
out?
little apostrophe.
We are slow cutting the barrels right now for the last several weeks. So I think we're ready to bottle it next week. So slow cutting means you're adding water slowly into the barrel. So allowing that chemical reaction to fade and stops basically at bottling. Instead of adding water right before bottling, and the byproduct of adding water to ethanol is heat. So a lot of times you drink 100 proof and it's like hot. It's because that chemical reaction it didn't complete. So we're doing it slow cutting the whiskey in the barrel. So when we bottle it, it's nice, sweet, and it's also extracting more flavors out of the barrel as we cut in the barrels. So hopefully next week we'll bottle it, and then the following week we'll start hitting certain markets. So it'll be available in LibDib in several states, and then we have 7 or 8 distributors who will be picking up that product in North Carolina, Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and other states. So,
Very cool.
Jake, just be careful with that when you put that on your shelves, because there is a really interesting 4-letter word you can spell out with that.
like a cunt?
Yeah, there you go. I like this guy. We're on the same page.
I mean, I was hoping you say cute.
No, okay,
Yeah.
well, my mind doesn't go there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, not something I ever thought of. We needed you here, Dan, to come to think of that and point it out.
I wasn't. Half of us here thought of it already. So it's definitely the older half, but the smarter half, I would also say, the wiser half.
So yeah,
Utah?
the other thing me and Jake are
Yeah,
drinking
I'm out in Utah now. I just moved out here 5 weeks ago. So
Is it a controlled state?
it's
yeah.
the worst state to get into.
Well, I mean, the reason I ask because we're in Iowa, Montana. I mean, they drink a lot. We love
yeah,
them.
they have the most strict liquor laws here in this.
They do?
So yeah,
Yeah,
Utah's
super
it's
strict.
like you can't if you go to a bar, like if you're going to a bar where their primary sales are going to be alcohol and not food, you can't even go in if you're under 21. You get carded. Everyone gets carded at the door of any bar, no matter your age. So.
And you can't. I mean, there's a ton of laws. You can't have beer
it's a
on
control
draft
state.
over 4%.
Yeah.
Liquor stores close at 5 o'clock. They're not open on Sundays.
No. Yeah. It's a tough state for liquor. There's very little that the state allows to be sold for whiskey.
Interesting. Yeah.
So.
But nobody cares about Utah, so let's focus back
let's
on
go back.
Old Louisville.
Yeah, let's go back.
So the other thing me and Jake are drinking is the 10-year Adventures Club single barrel pick.
The one you just picked up, Jake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I still have one bottle of that. It's a special.
Do you? So, yeah, and sorry to all the listeners, but that barrel sold out fast. It sold out on Monday within a day. There was only 60 bottles that came out of that barrel. It was a very short barrel. The Adventures Club did a limit 1 bottle per person, and it still sold out the same day.
Yeah, 64. I think I sent you 10 cases, the full cases, and I kept 4.
Mhm.
I still have 1
Yeah.
here. But that barrel is almost 11 year. It's a high rye. It's fantastic drinker.
It is really good.
A bunch of red
It's
fruit.
so
and
tasty.
Amazing. Sorry, Dan, you're in Utah.
It's all right. As soon as we get done, I'm going to sit on my patio and look at mountains. So.
Well, I don't have the best view here, but hopefully in the next warehouse we'll have a better view. I'm looking at a bridge from here.
Yeah, you know, these guys could have sent me some essential oils that I could have tried to taste that were Old Louisville essential oils, but they decided not to do that.
All right, send me your address. I'll see what I can do. You made me feel bad.
No, don't worry about it.
No, seriously, send me your info. We'll see what we can do.
All right. No, it's yeah. So I'm looking at some of the stuff you guys got on your website. Like you talked about the finishing process and stuff. You guys are doing some barrel finishing. How did you decide to pick what barrels you wanted to throw in some of these finishings? I see, obviously a maple finish. I see Madeira
The
finish.
maple finish, I just got to say, is phenomenal. It's definitely one of the best maple finishes out there. It's super balanced and not overpowering with the maple. It's like definitely whiskey first.
Yeah, so how we decide on what to do or what finishing to do, right? So as an NDP or even the large guys, you're limited to what's available as a second cask or barrels available in the market, right? So you have brokers that sell used barrels, and they have typically port, sherry wine, cognacs, brandy from Spain, Madeira. Maple is becoming recent. This is not a common thing for historically. You don't see people storing maple in cask. But I think as whiskey, American whiskey and bourbon are getting popular, there is maple syrup producers that are taking advantage or taking, the use of whiskey to extract some of that flavor, and people like to put that in their pancakes, whatever they use, and then it gets reused again for finishes. So the way we go about what to do or what finishes you choose is, one, is the demand there or not? Two, are the barrels available?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's the answer for most of the finishes. And some finishes make sense, some finishes don't make sense. Like with all due respect to a lot of brands that do honey, no beekeeper holds their honey in a barrel. You lose a lot of honey. So there's a lot of cheating there. So you will never see me doing a honey finish. The maple is a lot cheaper, and there is actually maple syrup available, and producers are selling their maple, finish in whiskey barrels. And then the rest are more traditional. The European been doing those finishes for centuries, the Madeira and the wine finishes. So what makes sense to the whiskey, and what's available in the market, and if demand is there or not. That's how we make our decisions. And then all the finishes are now our focus. So we typically do 4 to 6 barrels of each expression. Nothing crazy. And we don't do our finishes with bourbon. We actually do them with whiskey, straight whiskey.
Okay. How long are you usually for like the maple finish, maple syrup finish, or maple
Most
finish?
of
How
them,
long are you leaving it in there?
most of them are been in a maple cask for at least a year. Some of them are a year and a half. So we
Okay.
don't cut the finishes in short either. Like even our double oaked, toasted oak, the cognac, they're all over 18 months of finish. So allows the whiskey to extract everything you're gaining or getting out of the second cask, but also allowing it time to properly bond and create these balanced flavors. So when you're taking a sip, it's front to back, all the way balanced. It's not all over the place. So you're not just extracting flavor, but you're allowing these flavors to integrate. So we typically don't do anything in less than 12 months unless the whiskey really screams, I'm ready. So we don't do it to rush it or to slap a label, say we have a cognac finish or we have whatever it is. And the amount is very small. So the focus is straight bourbons, straight rye. The finishes are fun projects in very small, limited quantity.
So that's also pretty or relatively uncommon for that length of finishing, right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
industry, usually it's a few months at max.
Yeah, my philosophy is a little different. Like few months, you can extract everything you need, but you can't allow those integration to happen. There's a lot of science and proven papers and research that tell us 3 months finish is a joke. And some of them maybe are good, but most of them need more time. So
And why is there like philosophy behind no bourbon finishes and it's all American whiskey and light whiskey?
yeah, so bourbon, because we don't bottle anything younger than 7.5, 8. Typically because bourbon, not typically, but bourbon is aged in brand new barrel. So if you allow it 7, 8 year in the barrel, you have robust flavors, very rich. You got, super vanilla, butterscotch, brown sugar flavors, dark fruit notes. Bourbon typically doesn't need to be finished. Whiskey, on the other hand, we picked up a bunch of barrels from MGP. They were distilled as bourbon, but they were aged in used barrel. So they're not light whiskey. They're straight whiskey aged in used barrels. So they're very mellow because they didn't have the extraction of new barrels. Because 70% of the bourbon flavor comes from the barrel. So if you use the barrel twice, your whiskey is very light in color and very mellow in flavor. So when you do the second maturation, you elevate the whiskey and you're gaining actually a good flavors that you can notice. Like the cognac finish is a very, very delicate finish. And you ruin it if you put well matured bourbon because you don't get the full spectrum of the cognac and the grape notes and all the delicate notes that you can get out of cognac cask. When you use a light body whiskey, you gain all of them and you can still notice them and taste them and smell them. So because we don't bottle anything younger than 7, 8 year bourbon, the bourbon is so robust in flavor, rich in color. I mean, this is 8.5 year cut at 100 and it's still dark.
Mm-hmm.
If you take whiskey aged for the same amount or longer, it's a lot lighter. It's the same thing, the body is lighter. So that's why I decided to do whiskey, not bourbon, because they can actually benefit out of the second maturation and you can actually see it and smell it and taste it versus bourbon will be very, very robust.
I wholeheartedly endorse that philosophy.
Cheers to that.
I think a lot
Yeah.
of times when well matured bourbons are aged in some sort of secondary cask, it's not
It doesn't get
good.
anything
Yeah.
because you already have such a robust flavor of dark fruit, stone fruit, rice spices, um, delicate notes or floral notes or anything you're gonna pick up from a second cask. It gets lost.
Yeah. It seems like the tendency too is just to pair the already sweet bourbon with something else that's already extremely sweet, and then
Yeah,
it's just sugar, and you're not like, I mean, I understand that that's kind of the American palate
yeah,
in
yeah,
general, but like there's not a whole lot of thought that goes into like complementary flavor with bourbon. So I like that idea that American whiskey with a lighter profile is
yeah,
paired with something that actually fortifies it rather than just blowing it out with more sugar or whatever.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, historically, if you lived in Kentucky 20 years ago, it's kind of forbidding to finish bourbon. It until Angel's Envy kind of broke that rule, or the Henderson kind of like really changed and shifted the entire industry with finishes. It was not really a thing that people respect when you take a good mature bourbon and finish it. So for the longest time in the industry, it's forbidden, not as a known or anything like that, but it's kind of like you don't do that. Why would you do it? If you talk to Jimmy Russell or any of the gurus in the industry, they will tell you finish bourbon for two reasons: it's too young or too bad. You're trying to
Mm-hmm.
hide something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm not a fan. Like we've talked about it a bunch. I don't like a lot of barrel finishes for bourbon. I don't drink a lot of rye, but if I drink a rye, it's normally finished in something. Um,
And I mean,
but
don't get me wrong. There's some amazing finishes out there. Um, well, yeah. I mean, overall, if you allow the bourbon to properly age and you started with good quality, you don't need to touch it after 7 or 8 or 10 years, right? Just sip it and enjoy it. Yeah.
So the other kind of jump off of Dan's point. You mentioned obviously you have whiskey, you have bourbon. Are you, and you mentioned earlier you have a wheated bourbon also aging. Are there any other types of mash bills or other types of whiskey that you guys are holding?
Yeah. So we do have several bourbon mash bills, and then two ryes and two whiskeys. So the ryes we typically leave alone unless we're toasting it or doing some, you know, a finish that fits the
Mm-hmm.
profile of certain ryes. And again, it's the same thing, very small quantity, 4 or 5 barrels a year, nothing crazy. Uh, the whiskey we use them for both unfinished and finished, and then the bourbon we do some interesting blends too. So like we're about to release our 4 grain label. So it's a small quantity, same thing, philosophy, 6 to 10 barrels blend. And we're gonna take two recipes. One is heavy wheat bourbon, one is high rye bourbon. We're gonna find the ratio to blend them together. The age minimum is 8. So right now the blends been really pleasing to my palate is we took a 21% rye from MGP at 10.5 year, and then 45% wheat bourbon from MGP at 8.5. And we're gonna batch 6 to 10 barrels, and we're gonna release a 4 grain.
Nice. That's a
I've
cool 4 grain approach.
Yeah, I've heard the toasted rye is really, really good. And that was one that we sold out of super quick when we got it in. I didn't even get a chance to try it. So I know I've been texting you and bugging you about when that's coming back.
We have 5 total barrels. They're gonna turn 8 mid-September. So we're gonna bottle those, and we're gonna release the toasted barrels again this fall. So we have few in American toasted oak and few in toasted French oak, and they're both very, very interesting.
Hmm.
So last year, I thought I was gonna blend them, and most of barrel pickers that came to pick a bourbon barrel, they tasted it and took a single barrel toasted dry. I didn't do a release of toasted dry last year. It was just like whatever is left from a single barrel, you may ended up with one case or two. So we didn't even do a release for those. It was just 5 barrels. One of them were in Hungarian oak last year.
Oh, hmm. Well, Jake knows if he gets one of those, he's got to hold one for me.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry. I'm waiting. I think I've texted him like three or four different times. When's that toasted rye coming back?
It's coming. It's coming. Just next month.
Mm-hmm. So, is there anything like will people? Because I know your place right now is set up for mostly like industry visitors, if I'm not correct, or is it open to the public?
No,
And what
we're
you are open to the public?
we're open to the public. We have 5 slots of tours daily,
Okay.
and we do them 6 days a week. Um, Sometimes 7 days a week if people really like. That's the only day they can come. So we can host public here. They can pretty much experience everything that the industry people can, thief and straight from the barrel, bottle your own. So we have the same setup you guys experience. We do that daily, 5 slots a day, 10:30 to 4:30. So 90
Nice.
minutes increment.
So kind of the same setup is going to be at the new place. It'll just be much bigger then.
Much bigger, and we in a new place we're gonna have a tasting bar. So what we found out
Nice.
here, we only open by appointment here. But a lot of people just walk in and be like, "Hey, I just want to taste. I don't want to do a tour or full, you know, tasting. I just want to taste one or two expression to figure out what I want to pick up from the gift shop." So the next space we're gonna have a tasting bar, but then the tours will stay by appointment only. So
Cool.
Nice.
I mean, I guess that's most of what I had questions on and cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously you just talked about the Kentucky label that's going to be coming out. That's going to be a little bit lower price points and things. Any other things that you guys got working on over there that you're willing to share or not?
no, it's open book here. So the biggest thing is at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival next month, September weekend of September 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We're gonna release the Kentucky series. For other markets, Jake may be able to pick it up in the next couple of weeks and have it on his shelf. And
Let's
then once we
go.
release that and roll the new brand, we're gonna do the toasted dry and the 4 grain. Those are mainly what's gonna be coming the rest of the year. The new brand, the toasted dry is gonna be back on the shelf, and then the 4 grain that I'm still working on the blend and the ratio of the 4 grain bourbon that we're gonna release. So that's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So, a question here, real quick, before we close up here. I was just thinking, for the Kentucky label, since you're having all the different letters, that means you had to get all those different labels with a letter approved by the TTB, correct?
Well, so they actually approved it. So the letter is only in the background. Everything else
Okay.
stays the same.
Okay.
So it's kind of like what you see other brands doing images.
Mm,
The core label, the legal
okay.
label is the same. It's just like the background of the letter. So they
Okay.
have all the letters or all the labels, um, but basically one TTB or
Okay. All
one
right. I was
call
to say,
approval. Yeah.
otherwise that'd be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not so much for like regular states, but the 17 control states, we're in 4 of them. That's definitely difficult because then literally, after you get the approval from federal, you need to get it approved and get a special code for each one of them. So, and most states don't allow you to just bring in ed SKUs as a controlled state. Good luck getting one in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Utah, we can send you the U.
You know, technically, if you had a B, we could do the B, the Y, and the U as well.
Yeah.
Brigham Young. But
there's no B.
In Brigham Young, there's a B. That's a
Not
big
in
thing
Kentucky.
here, too. I said if there was a B.
After we start releasing some images and telling people about the brand, I mean, there's all kind of fun ideas about the letters and what I need to do, and I'm like, I'm already like slammed busy.
We already talked about the most fun thing to do with the letters.
Yeah.
We've already figured that one out. So.
Hey, trust
so
me,
Dan needs 4 bottles shipped to him.
Yeah.
I'll keep looking for the B. I can tell you I have the U and the E and the A. Well, good having. Thanks for having me, guys, and good talking to you.
I think it's time for the old coupon code.
Yeah, as I say, Jake, there better be a coupon code with this episode. So.
Is that what you guys do at the end of each session, or
we make Jake give away money at the end of each session? That was the thing.
No, I mean if we have a good conversation about a brand or a product, or definitely if we have a guest on, I'll drop a coupon code because usually there's people looking to buy some of the products that we talk about. So yeah, if you want to purchase any of these products, goldeaglewine.com, or you can download our app on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Make sure you follow us on Facebook at Gold Eagle Spirits, Instagram at Gold Eagle Wine. And you can use the coupon code on online orders, BM Old Lou. That's BMOLDLOU. For 10% off any Old Louisville product that isn't already on sale. That works online only. And yeah, Amine, where can we find more info about Old Louisville? If you want to plug your social medias or website, please do so.
Was a chance. We're available online at oldlouisvillewhiskey.com, Instagram and Facebook. Those are the main social media we use. And then if you're coming to Kentucky, we'd love to have you come learn more about our expressions, our philosophy. Come thief straight from the barrel and let's talk whiskey.
Nice.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having
Bourbon
me.
Matters.
Yeah, Jake, you want to plug us here real quick before we head out?
Oh yeah, you can listen to us on pretty much any podcast platform. Watch us on Spotify and YouTube.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The coupon should be Utah with an B. All right, guys.
So yeah, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'm planning to come up north, probably like with my injury, maybe like. So the plan is to come see Jake up there, do a tasting event or something fun. So we'll keep.
Yeah, definitely got to have you up for a master class.
Well, yeah, we'll do that soon. Hopefully next couple months. So that's good.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a good one.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right.
All right, Amine, thanks for joining us. Have fun thieving some more barrels before you leave real quick, and don't crash that scooter.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.